Alright everyone, welcome back. Unlike Shinto, it's quiet here, as if it were already in the middle of the night.
さくら、大丈夫かな?
She seemed to be feeling okay, but I feel bad thinking I made her push herself again because she went to my place to make dinner.
ちょっと様子見てくるか。
Going to her house may not accomplish anything, but I'd rather have the reassurance than do nothing at all. There's nothing different about the Matou house. There's no sign of the strange foreigner Sakura was talking about earlier, and the lights are only on in Sakura and Shinji's room as usual. Hold on a minute. Why was the other line on last night then? Was there someone other than Sakura and Shinji in the Matou house?
もし何かこの家に用があるのかね?
I whirl around. In the darkness of night, I see a person standing there, almost hidden among the chirping insects. He's an old man and I don't recognize him. He must be really old, but his sharp eyes and intimidating presence are out of all disproportion with that tiny old body. The sheer amount of time he's lived seems to lend him a certain dignity, and I find myself petrified.
どうした若いの? なぜ答えん? 答えねばこちらで決めつけてしまうぞ。ではさくらが言っておった不審なよそ者がお前さんだということでよいかな?
Sakura? Does that mean this man is...
参ったの。孫の頼みだ。見過ごしておくわけにもいくまい。見ず知らずのお前さんには申し訳ないが、少し痛い目に遭ってもらわねばならん。念のため聞いておくが、潔く公僕の厄介になる気はないか?
Haven't done anything wrong, sir. The strange old man seems pleasantly cheerful despite the dark subject matter. There's no doubt about it. It may be the first time I've ever seen him, but this man is Sakura's.
いや、違います。俺はシンジの同級生で、さくらとは知り合いで、散歩がてらに様子を見に来たエミヤシロウというものです。
ああ、そうか。シンジとさくらの知り合いか。それは邪魔をしたな。どれ、二人を呼んでこよう。それとも、夕飯を馳走されるかね。
いえ、ちょっと寄っただけですから、すぐ帰ります。それよりおじいさん、さくらはもうちゃんと帰ってきてますか?
造剣じゃ。
The old man murmurs something I don't quite catch. He sounds irritated.
マトウゾウケン。お前さんが名乗ったというのに、わしが名乗らんままではおかしかろう。
Zouken Mato turns toward the house once he finishes speaking. He shows that he has no interest in me. He's so intimidating, I can't even manage to get a word out as I watch him go. But then...
さくらならば帰ってきておる。それよりエミヤシロ。アインツベルンの娘は双剣かね。
アインツ、何ですか?
とぼけるでない。アインツベルンの娘がエミヤを訪ねるは通り、こたびの座の出来はどうかと問うておる。
Huh? Now I really don't understand. Sorry, Sakura. Your grandpa's a little crazy.
どうやら本当に知らんらしいな、これは。
Zouken sighs. For some reason, I feel bad for him given how disappointed he looks.
よくわかりませんけど、すみません。
いやいや、お主が気に病むことはない。わしの勘違いじゃ。つまらぬことを言ってすまなかった。そら、孫たちに用があるのなら遠慮することはない。年寄りは隠居しておるでな。気兼ねなく尋ねるがよい。
いや、今日は本当に寄っただけです。けど、 おじいさん、この家に住んでいるんですか？
住んでおるとも。もっとも見ての通りの老体でな。日がな一日奥座敷でくたびれておる。
Is that so? I've been inside the Mato house numerous times until last year, but I never got the sense anyone else was living in that house other than Shinji and Sakura.
では失礼するぞ、エミヤシロウ君。うちの孫たちとよくしてやってくれ。
Despite his apparent age, he walks briskly away. The Mato house appears unchanged, but the sound of chirping bugs suddenly fades. Another day ends. I finish yet another busy dinner, and after seeing off Fujine, I take a bath. Afterward, I go to the storehouse for my daily training. I complete my usual routine and go to sleep. It's 1 in the morning. The day ends peacefully without incident. Oh yeah, we're skipping. Soon after Fujine leaves, I lock up and Sakura leaves as well.
さくら、なんだよ、元気がないな。もしかして、また体調が悪くなったのか？
いえ、体の調子はいいです。先輩の方こそ大事はありませんか？今朝もどこか気分が悪そうでしたし、昨日の傷も悪化してるかもしれません。
Yesterday's injury. Oh, the bruise in my left hand.
いや、あざはあれっきりだけどな。ただの腫れだからしばらくすれば治るだろう。
Sakura continues to stare at me, looking concerned.
いや、本当に大丈夫だって。大したことないぞ、本当。
Yeah, no worries. It's just the forming of my command spell.
なんだよ。昨日からおかしいぞ、さくら。こんなのただのあざだろ？それとも何か？俺が寝てる間にさくらが踏んづけてできたあざだとか。
先輩、私そんなに重くありません。私は
ただ
間違いだったらいいって。
Huh? I don't get what Sakura's saying. Sakura may be quiet, but she generally speaks her mind. It's not like her to beat around the bush so much.
先輩、お願いがあるんですけど、いいですか？
ん？ああ、できる範囲でなら聞くけど、なんだ？
はい、私、明日の夜までお手伝いに来られないんです。その間、できるだけ家の中にいてもらえませんか？
それ、日曜のバイトは休めってことか？
はい、できる限り家にいてほしいんです。私の用事が終わればお手伝いに来ますから。
まあ、一日ぐらい休んでもいいか。よし。じゃあ、休日は家でのんびりしてる。それでいいか、さくら。
はい。そうしてもらえると助かります。
A bit of relaxation actually doesn't sound so bad. I've been working nonstop recently, so I have some extra funds right now. Maybe I'll clean out all the junk this weekend. Yep, skip that. Whoa, there's a lot of scenes here we need to skip. Destroy the seal. There's a slithering sound. It's hard to determine whether the sound is a cry, something being dragged, or something festering. The sound represented everything. Here, there are only rotting things. The stone walls are as brittle as a decaying tree. The air smells sweet like honey. The creatures crawling on the ground are decomposing like ripe fruit, and even the time that passes in this space is rotten meaningless. Everything here is worn out. The darkness is a graveyard for things that were never mourned on Earth. The end of vindictive bloodlines.
7人揃ったようだな。
The largest gangrenous mass wriggles at the center of darkness. The sound of insects taints the air along with a rancid and unpleasant stench. The master of this basement is rotten and decayed, yet alive, and is surrounded by otherworldly worms. The insects that crawl up from the feet suck on its ankles, and once their suckers reach their host's flesh and bone, they continue to slowly burrow in to reach nerves. There are hundreds, nay, more than 200 wiggling bugs. Any creature unlucky enough to be thrown onto the writhing carpet would die in moments. The insects would burrow in and devour its insides, leaving its flesh and bones intact but taking it over.
足りん。この虫どもも時期替え時か。
Yet, its body does not break down. Rather, whenever the insects invade its body through the ankle, its body takes one step closer to completion. It's not being devoured by the insects. The massive insects that live in the basement are the ones being consumed, existing solely to be eaten by it. There should be enough here to last 100 years. That guarantees it at least that much time as it consumes these insects to live.
まだ先はある。こたびが最後というわけでもない。万全でなければ静観に徹するべきなのだが。
It twists its mouth in disapproval. The situation is in no way optimal. The battle is about to start once again, less than 10 years after the last. The priest who is tasked with overseeing this ritual possesses 2 servants, and the servant rooted in Ryudo Temple has in turn summoned their own servant. These conditions are not promising. A complete grail simply will not be forged from such an unstable battle. The gates may open, but its contents will not be reachable.
ならば静観するべきなのだが、困ったことに持ち駒だけは適しておる。
The conditions to fight over the Holy Grail are abysmal. However, the thing that was painstakingly created is in its ideal form. If released, it would surely reach it. As long as the proper steps are taken, the Holy Grail should be attainable. After all, contents of the Holy Grail have been implanted inside them. For 10 years, fragments of the Holy Grail spread into throughout their nerves. It's such a natural thing for originating from the same source to be attracted to one another.
わしには次があるが、あれはそう長く持つまい。対バンとしてもらい受けたものだが、よもやあれほどの出来になろうとはの。
The thing was an experiment, but now it has perfectly adapted to its purpose. It was supposed to be disposed of, but it ought to be used if it proves useful. In either case, the plan is to dispose of it anyway. The thing is bound to be discarded whether it loses in battle, is destroyed, or disabled.
となると問題は一つ。あれをどうやってその気にさせてやるかだが。
For some reason, the compatible masterpiece refuses to fight. One approach would be taking over its mind, but it has put up a solid mental defense. Well then, that is why I wanted a vessel that possesses strong magic circuits. Excuse me. It is only logical for something talented to be hardy in the face of poison trying to invade it. Then, shall the obedient doll or the outstanding pupil be chosen? If the latter brainwashing would be out of the problem.
一度でよい。わずかな隙間さえ開けば、あとは自ら聖杯を求めるのであろうが。さて。
Creating that small opening is the difficult part. That thing is not so weak as to be broken by coercion. If it could break easily, it could have broken 11 years ago. It has erected quite the fortress to defend itself, but it simply has no blade with which to fight back. If it is to break, it must be from within. Its feudal emotion should be the key to transforming
来た
it.
か。さて、では隙間を作ってやるとするか。
Descending footsteps echo in the darkness. The person walks in towards the center of the decaying insects. The thing asks a predictable question. Do all masters have to be killed? Of course, there's no need to answer. All masters must die. All servants must be seized. That is the ethos, writing within the basement. But that thought is pushed
お
aside.
前がそういうのであれば仕方あるまい。では今回も傍観に徹しよう。
It utters. It emits a sigh of relief and the mood softens. After the thing indicates that it has no intention to fight by gently smiling.
しかしそうなると少しばかり尺だの。今回のよりしろの中では、キャツの娘はなかなかによくできておる。勝者が出るとすれば、おそらくはあやつであろう。
It murmurs in a disappointed tone. The air feels slack once again. Faint disappointment flickers like an ember in the basement. The thing that has resisted fighting this entire time suddenly shows signs of reconsidering after hearing its single statement. The thing is wavering. A slight crack. The thing does not even notice, but now a slight unintended opening cracks through defenses. It laughs. Swarmed by worms and still rotting, it still maintains the human shape as it laughs. Ah, that's not cool. Weird. And now we're officially on Heaven's Feel. Winter 5 years ago. It was a beautiful moonlit night. I was just enjoying the sight with my father, Kiritsugu Emiya. It was winter, but it wasn't very cold. On the veranda, it was just a little chilly, the perfect weather to watch the moon. Kiritsugu didn't go outside much anymore. He rarely went out, and he spent most of his time lounging around the house. Every time I recall this, I still feel regret. Why didn't I realize that he was acting that way any creature does when they know their time is almost up?
子供の頃、僕は正義の味方に憧れてた。
He blurted it out just out of nowhere. My father, who already seemed like a champion of justice in my eyes, said that as if he were reflecting on a memory.
なんだよそれ。憧れてたって諦めたのかよ。
I asked, unable to completely hide my disappointment. Kiritsugu smiled apologetically and looked up at the distant moon.
うん。残念ながらね。ヒーローは期間限定で大人になると名乗るのが難しくなるんだ。そんなこともっと早くに気がつけばよかった。
I wasn't sure why, but if Kiritsugu said it, then it had to be true.
そっか。それじゃしょうがないな。
そうだね。本当にしようがない。
Kiritsugu nodded in agreement. So I just kind of blurted something out, as if it were a natural thing to say.
しょうがないから俺が代わりになってやるよ。
And this is where our Shiro becomes broken.
じいさんは大人だからもう無理だけど、俺なら大丈夫だろ。任せろって。じいさんの夢は。
And it's a dream you should never have taken on yourself, young man. But you know what? You gave us a lot of entertainment for it. Because I'll make it a reality. The bold promise made my father smile. His face said everything I needed to know. Kiritsugu made a long, contented sigh and whispered.
ああ。安心した。
There, he closed his eyes, and so too his life came to a close. He looked so peaceful, like he was just going to wake up in the morning, so I didn't think much about it. Maybe it was because then I was used to seeing death. On a winter night, the man I called my father looked up at the moon and entered a long sleep. The yard was dead silent, not so much as a single chirp from an insect. I still remember how fiercely my eyes blazed on that brilliant dark night. I didn't cry out loud, nor did I feel sad, but tears flowed down my cheek until the moon sank past the horizon. This happiness in the winter 5 years ago. I probably cried 10 years worth of tears in that time, so after that, there was nothing left. Fujine's dad took care of the funeral arrangements, and that's how I ended up living in the Emiya mansion all alone. Kiritsugu's passing didn't change anything for me. I was set on becoming a man who champions justice and does what's right, just like my father, so I didn't have time to sit around. That's right. I never talk about this, but I still remember it. 10 years ago, a man saved me from a fire. He picked up a burned, dying child and carried him out of hell, weeping with joy. I've admired him ever since. Nobody else saved me. I couldn't save anyone. In the ruins of the fire, there was only a boy who was saved and the man who saved them. That's why I aspired to be like him. I wanted to become a hero of justice that saves people and doesn't let anyone die. That's who he wanted to be, and he passed this wish on to me before quietly letting the curtain fall. It's only natural for a child to follow in their father's footsteps. Shiro Emiya must become a hero of justice and save someone the same way that he was once saved. I swore to myself I would do it. Now, is it really sharing a dream if you take it upon yourself to, you know, take it from your father? I vowed to fulfill the dream of the man I most admired, but honestly, I didn't know how. What did Kiritsugu mean by doing the right thing and championing justice? How can I grow up faster? Is there some magical way to make Kiritsugu's dream of making everyone happy come true? Seriously, what am I supposed to do when I become a master and I can't get the blonde girl with me out of my head? Wait, was that always? Did I miss that? Like these previous gameplays? Did he like have a hint of Saber coming in Heaven's Feel? Wow. I must have missed that text several times over, because I naturally thought that he was always oblivious to it until he becomes an official master and she saves him. I wake up in my room. The steely tang of blood clouds my mouth. It pulled in my mouth while I slept, and every time I breathe, heavy metallic air fills my lungs. I'm not sure why I feel this way. A violent urge to vomit makes me want to go wash my face in the restroom. I left myself out of bed. Dizziness sets my head spinning. Feeling uneasy on my feet, I plant a hand on the wall. I try to move, but it only makes the nausea worse. No, it's more pain than nausea. My body feels sluggish, and my inside seems to churn whenever I move. I imagine this is about what it'd feel like if someone forced hot lead down my throat.
変な想像したら熱出てきた。
I wipe the sweat from my forehead and hobble out of my room, leaning against the wall.
よし、少しは落ち着いた。
I wash my face and dry off my sweat-drenched body. For some reason, my abdomen is wrapped in bandages. I have no idea why, but I'll deal with it later. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. Okay. No, because I skipped so many of the previous scenes. He met Saber already. I'm like, oh, okay, now we're back on point.
腹減ったな。なんか作り置きでもあったっけ？
My stomach still feels like it's churning, but my body needs nourishment. I was about to say, I'm like, that's a new line then. How did he know about Saber before she even came to be? I suck up the discomfort and keep walking, braced against the wall. The dizziness won't go away, and worst of all, my whole body feels dull. I keep moving forward, making pathetic noises along the way. What the hell did I do before I went to bed last night? I don't remember training strenuously enough to make my entire body ache. I reach the living room. Sakura and Fujine must be at school. There's no signs of breakfast, nor do I see any remnants of Fujine wrecking the place. The living room's quiet, like a typical Sunday.
おはよう。勝手に上がらせてもらってるわ、エミヤくん。
Or not. Rin Tosaka is sitting on the floor by the table in the living room. She's so calm, like she owns the place. So much so that I feel like the guest here. I have no idea what to say, so I plop down on the cushion. And then I take a deep breath.
遠坂、お前どうして？
待った。その前に謝ってくれない？昨夜の一件についての謝罪を聞かないと落ち着けないわ。
I can't even finish asking why she's in my house. Tosaka's glare is all I need to know how angry she is. She seems upset about something that happened last night, but what exactly?
待て。
Now I remember. Right, this isn't the time for me to be leisurely breathing in the morning air. I tried to help Saber and Berserker gutted me like a fish. The nausea returns. A chill grips my entire body as I remember the feeling of having a gaping hole in my body. Wait, that's weird. I should have died instantly.
変だ。なんだって生きてるんだ、俺。
思い出した？昨夜自分がどんなバカをしでかしたかって。なら少しは反省しなさい。
Nope, because we're gonna do it again. Tosaka huffs critically. That kinda ticks me off. My brain, frozen since seeing Tosaka in my living room, finally grinds to action.
何言ってんだ。あの時はあれ以外することなんてなかっただろう。いや、そりゃ結果だけ見ればバカだったけど、本当はもっとうまくやるつもりだったんだ。だからあれは間違いなんかじゃない。
I return her glare, insisting that I'm not an idiot. What? Why is she making such a show of sighing tiredly at me?
マスターが死んだらサーバントは消えるって言ったでしょ。だって言うのにサーバントをかばうなんてどうかしてるわ。いい？あなたが死んでしまえばセイバーだって消えてしまう。セイバーを救いたかったのならもっと安全な場所からできる手段を考えなさい。まったく身を挺してサーバントを守るなんて行為は無駄以外の何者でもないって分かってるの？
かばったわけじゃない。助けようとしたらああなっちまっただけだ。俺だってあんな目に遭うなんて思わなかった。
I knew I might die if I got near a monster like that, but that's beside the point.
そう、勘違いしてるみたいね、あなた。
Tosaka only looks more irritated, like she knows exactly what I'm thinking.
あのね、エミヤ君、きっちりと言っておくけど、教会まで連れて行ったのはあなたに勝たせるためじゃないわ。あれはね、何も知らないあなたが一人でも生き残れるようにって考えた結果なの。どうもそのあたりを分かってなかったみたいね。
俺が生き残れるように？
そうよ。負けることがそのまま死につながるって知れば、そう簡単に博打は打たなくなる。エミヤ君、こういう状況でも一人で夜出歩きそうだから。脅しをかけておけば家中の栗を拾うこともなし、うまくいけば最後までやり過ごせるかもって思ったの。